Vermont takes on Umass Lowell, and that's going to be a 5 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Costello. Vermont's minus 10 on the road, totals 142 flat. We're hitting at 62% in our last 13 college basketball tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 2-0 with a push in our last 3 extra daily picks on that site as well. And access to today's extra daily pick costs us $2.99. Now, we currently have over 775 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Umass Lowell has successfully covered the number in 2 out of their last 3, throwing out the NC State game. And as a matter of fact, the Riverhawks beat a solid San Francisco Dons team in their season opener. They actually held San Francisco to just 68 total points in that contest. Obadiah Noel is scoring 21 points per contest, along with 6 boards and 5 assists. The senior from Frederick, Maryland, has also recorded 4 steals and a block. Of course, can't forget about Darian Jordan Thomas, who's also averaging 4 rebounds a night, and he's also recorded a couple of steals on the season himself. They're taking on a Vermont team who plays their first game of the 2021 season this evening. And when it comes to the total in this one, Maslow saw their last 2 straight stay under the posted number, 3-1 to the under for the entire season. We're going to start off the video with a little bit of an underdog here. Give me the underdog Umass Lowell Riverhawks plus 10 and the under 142. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for college basketball here on a Monday. Happy Monday to you guys. Hopefully you're having a great start to your week. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just have to quickly remind you once again that we are hitting at 62% in our last 13 college basketball tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 2-0 with a push in our last 3 extra daily pick tier package plays on that site as well. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. Now, you might be wondering, why would you sign up and pay for picks on Patreon, where you can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great thought, a great consideration. If I were you watching me right now on YouTube, I'd probably be thinking the same thing. But just hear me out real quick, because if you were to go out there and bet every single game that's on the slate, every single game that's on the board side in total, like I do with my breakdowns here on YouTube, it's certainly not a winning formula for success, and as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. It's just entirely way too many games to be betting on. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp with the numbers. The odds become massively more against you the more and more games you play like that. And to be honest with you, the bookies just have so much more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that type of action. So what I do on Patreon is I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus going ahead and throwing darts and firing on every single game that's on the card side in total. Now, if you guys were curious and if you were wondering, we currently have over 775 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. I strongly recommend it. And link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to take a look at Sacred Heart versus Wagner. And that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time at the Spiro. Wagner is the 5-point favorite at home. Totals 136 flat. Sacred Heart is plus 195 for an upset win. Now, Sacred Heart beat LIU by 15 in their last outing. Now, the Pioneers have also successfully covered the point spread in 2 out of their last 3, and that includes a cover against Rutgers. Now, Tyler Thomas is scoring 16 points a night along with 6 boards and 4 assists. Also can't forget about Aaron Clark, who's scoring over 14 points a night himself, along with 3 assists. Now, the junior from Parsippany has also recorded 4 steals defensively. Now, they are taking on an 0-3 Wagner team who's giving up nearly 80 points per contest. The Seahawks are also scoring just 60 points a game, and they failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, Wagner's most recent outing against Bryant got over the posted number. Meanwhile, 2 out of Sacred Heart's last 3 got over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Sacred Heart Pioneers +5 in the over 136. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Southern Illinois versus Butler, and that's going to be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip at the Hinkle Fieldhouse. Butler's -9 with a total at 129 flat. The Southern Illinois Salukis are +350 for an upset win. And speaking of wins, the Salukis are a perfect 5-0 straight up on the season, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 qualifying ball games. The Salukis are scoring over 81 points a night, and they're shooting 50% from the field. The Salukis are also nailing 44% of their three-pointers. Ben Harvey is scoring 16 points a game along with 6 rebounds. The sophomore guard is also drilling 54% of his three-pointers. Marcus Domask is also scoring 16 points a game along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Domask has drained 88% of his foul shots. He's also recorded 9 blocks through 5 games. The Salukis are holding their opponents to just 64 points per contest and 40% shooting from the field. Now they're taking on a Butler team who's on a 2-game losing streak themselves, 0-3 against the number thus far in the season. The Bulldogs are scoring just 64 points a game, and they're allowing their opponents to shoot 50% from the field. They're also allowing the competition to connect on 46% of their three-pointers. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, 2 out of Butler's last 3 did get over the posted number. Meanwhile, 3 out of Southern Illinois' last 4 qualifying contests got over the line themselves. We're going to lean toward another underdog in this one. Give me the Southern Illinois Salukis +9 in the over 129. Next contest, it is going to be Arkansas Little Rock versus Missouri State, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. Missouri State's -1 with the total at 146 flat. The Missouri State Bears are 2-0 straight up on the season. 52% they're shooting from the field in those contests. The Bears are also averaging 84 points a night. Gage Prim is scoring 23 points a game along with 8 boards and 9 assists. The senior from Aurora, Colorado, has also recorded 6 blocks and a couple of steals in only 2 games. 6'5" forward Isaiah Mosley is also scoring 16 points a game, along with 4 boards and 3 assists. Missouri State is holding their opponents to just 38% shooting from the field. Now they're taking on a Little Rock team who's failed to cover the number in 4 out of their last 5 qualifying ball games. Little Rock's also giving up over 70 points per contest. And when it comes to the number in this one, Little Rock's 3-1 to the over away from home this season. Those were actually neutral site games. Meanwhile, Missouri State's season opener got over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Missouri State Bears -1 in the over 146. Next contest, it is going to be Tulsa versus Memphis, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the FedEx Forum. Memphis is the 9-point favorite. Total's 137.5. The Memphis Tigers have won 4 out of their last 5 ball games. 77 points a game they're averaging for the season. Landers Nolly is scoring over 14 points a game along with 3 boards and a couple assists. Nolly's also got himself 6 steals. DJ Jeffries is also scoring over 13 points a game himself, along with 7 boards and a couple assists. Jeffries has recorded 13 steals and 7 blocks through just 8 ball games, playing very sound defensively. Now the Tigers are officially 3-0 straight up as the home team. They're taking on a Tulsa program who's lost 3 of 5 already on the season themselves. Now the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes scoring just 69 points a night, and they failed to cover both of their ball games away from home this season. So certainly some trends that are not favorable toward Tulsa backers. Now, total-wise, Tulsa saw 2 out of their last 4 ball games stay under the posted number. Meanwhile, Memphis is 3-0 to the under as the home team, 7-1 to the under overall for the season. I'm going to lean toward the Memphis Tigers -9 and the under 137.5. All right, next ball game I have for you. I believe it is on the big screen. Yes, it is. It is going to be Murray State versus Austin Peay, and that's going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern start time at the Winfield Dunn Center. The Murray State Racers are -3 on the road. Total's 144. Murray State's won 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Just 60 points a game they gave up during that stretch. Now, the Racers are scoring over 92 points a game and shooting a staggering 57% from the field. They also beat Austin Peay by 30 back on December 8th. KJ Williams is scoring 15 points a game along with 7 rebounds. Williams also has recorded 5 steals and 3 blocks. Meanwhile, guard Tevin Brown is scoring over 13 points a game himself, 6 rebounds and 4 assists for the junior. Brown's also recorded 9 steals and 3 blocks defensively as well. Murray State is currently holding their opponents to just 60 points per contest and also just 37% shooting from the field. Now they're taking on an Austin Peay opponent who's coming fresh off a loss to Florida A&M. Peay's also gone 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 qualifying ball games. The Governors are allowing their opponents to shoot 47% from the field. And of course, when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Governors are 60% to the under in their qualifying contests. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Murray State saw 3 out of their last 4 qualifying ball games stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Murray State Racers -3 and the under 144. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be New Mexico versus Boise State, and that's going to be a 9:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Boise's the 10-point favorite. Total's 144 flat. The Lobos of New Mexico are +440 for some money line cash. Now, the Lobos are 3-0 straight up thus far in the season. Having said that, though, New Mexico is only shooting just 30% from beyond the arc. They've also failed to cover the number in 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Boise. So if you're into historical trends, it's certainly favoring the Boise State Broncos. And speaking of the Broncos, they're on a 4-game winning streak themselves. 3-1 against the spread in their last 4 qualifying ball games as well. Boise's holding their opponents to just 60 points a game and just 26% shooting from beyond the arc. Derek Alston is scoring over 15 points a night along with 4 boards and a couple assists. The senior from Houston is also drilling 89% of his free throws. Meanwhile, sophomore guard Rage Dennis is scoring 14 points a game along with 4 boards and 4 assists. Dennis has recorded 10 steals and a couple of blocks for the Broncos. Now, Boise's holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field. Very good defensively. And when it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of Boise State's last 4 qualifying contests did stay under the line. Meanwhile, New Mexico saw their season opener against Rice University stay under the total themselves. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Boise State Broncos -10 and the under 144. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 5-1 with a push in our last 7 board member tier package plays. I like Umass Lowell +10 under 142. I'm leaning towards Sacred Heart +5 over 136. I like Southern Illinois +9 over 129. I'm also leaning toward Missouri State -1 over 146. I like Memphis -9 under 137.5. I also like Murray State -3 under 144. And last but certainly not least, please give this video please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it by smashing that like button, and please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I like the Boise State Broncos -10 and the under 144. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout-out to Kevin Taylor, Proline Master, Vernon Williard, 626 Lunatic, Calico Jones, Stephen Lewis, Justin Hubbard, Trevino Sloan, Dominique Hughes, And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, SOP LFD Striker. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up, and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.